Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hey folks, welcome back. Thank you for your patience. I do appreciate that. I had to finish editing a video, which I could have got sooner. I could have finished sooner, except that I was interrupted by a neighbor and had to take care of some business, and that ate up about 6 minutes of my time, and therefore maybe a little bit long. So I wasn't able to get on time. So my apologies for that. I would have been on time were it not for that. I've just finished editing a video. I'll upload it while we're on this broadcast, and then you're welcome to watch it after this. The Department of International Relations Cooperation from South Africa has predictably responded to President Trump's refugee cap. And rather than being delighted that it's so few people, now this should be telling folks, notice the South African government is screaming about this is wrong, this is wrong. But some South Africans are complaining that it's too few people. Well, for too few people, then the South African government would just ignore the situation. They wouldn't even have a response to it. They would only answer questions that the media might pose. They wouldn't come out with a rude, disrespectful, arrogant, asshattery statement that insults the United States and undermines our Constitution and our laws. But that's what they did. That's what they did. And I just edited that video. It'll be coming up here shortly, so stay tuned for that. Welcome back to the program. So, we have some news to talk about today. Of course, Wills gave a gift membership. It went to Anonymous 12. Well, congratulations. Yep. All right. So I won't have time to go over everyone, greet you all. This is the news program, so let's get to the news, and thank you all for tuning in. President Trump has set the threshold. I do have the president's determination letter here. It is published today in the Federal Register. The Federal Register is the publicly available center for all federal documents, and that are releasable. Some are classified. They can't go there, obviously. Some are sensitive, can't put this. But this president's determination is publicly available. And this president's determination I read yesterday. I did a short on it. Then I did a live stream on it. And did I do a video? I think I might have done a video too. I don't recall. It's been such a busy 24 hours. But President Trump's president's determination 25-13, which is the 13th president's determination of the fiscal year, at least for his administration. Maybe, I don't know if the auto pen did a few for Joe Biden before he went to nighty-night. But the admission of 7,500 refugees to the United States during the fiscal year 2026 justified by humanitarian concerns or is otherwise in the national interest. So the thing about this is raises questions because it talks about Afrikaners specifically. Missions shall be primarily allocated among Afrikaners from South Africa pursuant to Executive Order 14204 and other victims of illegal or unjust discrimination in their respective homelands. So the 14204 is the executive order that he signed in February and announced on February 7th, and I covered that and have covered it extensively, more than anyone on the planet since that time. That executive order has allowed Indians and coloreds from South Africa who are suffering unjust racial discrimination to come over. In fact, one of the most panic-stricken, most constantly complaining about, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to reveal who you are, constantly complaining to me about how it's unfair. What about me? 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 And I asked the person to be patient. Well, that person has now gotten their call in the last 48 hours. So as I said, be patient. This is an Indian who was freaking out over this. It's not right. It's not fair. It isn't fair. How come only Afrikaners? How come only farmers? No, it's not. Now, going forward, I don't know how to play out, but I can tell you that to date, it has included Indians and Indians and colors, and all things being equal, it should continue to be that case. But I can't say for sure. Francis Ruiz got a gift membership courtesy of Hein, thank you for that. Andrew Kerr, they don't want us to leave because they can't punish us as much as they want to. Exactly. This is about revenge. This is racial hatred and revenge. It isn't about South Africa's constitution because the South African government doesn't uphold South Africa's constitution. Everyone's equal under the law under South Africa's constitution, except for the 145 race-based laws in South Africa. So there you have it, folks. That's the bottom line there. All right, so let's get to this news here. That's the executive presidential determination that's got everyone wagging their tail here in America. The leftists are going batshit crazy. It's not fair. It's racist. Why do white people get to come? Well, why did you ignore white people suffering from persecution around the world for the past decades? Why did you do that? That wasn't fair. Anyway, let's get to it with the news here, folks. On a Friday, a lekker Freitag, hopefully. A little bit overcast outside. It's trick-or-treat day in several communities here in central Pennsylvania because of rain yesterday. And I have to go pick up my judge material this afternoon. Plus, the plan is to go get this mane trimmed a little bit so I look sharp for the election day and probably trim this up a little bit too. So, there you have it. Maybe get some steamed crabs tonight. Mad Max got a decision letter. Okay, Sandra, I mean, did he share that? Can you share that? You've already put it in the chat, so I guess the cat is out. Okay, what does that mean? Did he get rejected? If so, he'd be the first one I ever heard got rejected. I haven't heard that he got rejected. Right. Trump sets the refugee ceiling at a record low 7,500 with a focus on white South Africans. Now, that's an accurate headline. That's news. Thank you, Times Live. That's actually news. Now, let's see if there's any propaganda in the story. President Trump set the refugee admission ceiling at 7,500 for the fiscal year, the lowest cap on record. A White House document published on Thursday said, part of a broader effort to reshape refugee policies in the U.S. and worldwide. That's accurate. That's news. Trump said an annual refugee determination dated 30 September. We focus largely on South African country's white Afrikaner community. He doesn't say white. That's factually incorrect. But I mean, it's a fair assumption on the part of the Times Live because they probably only see whites as Afrikaners. Fair enough. He claimed Afrikaners faced persecution based on race. Allegations the South African government denied. Both of those are true statements. He paused all U.S. refugee missions when he took office, saying that they can only be started if it were established to be in the interest of the U.S. Weeks later, he launched an effort to bring in Afrikaners, sparking criticism from refugee supporters. Only 138 South Africans entered the U.S. by early September, reporters reported at that time. But that number has now been updated to nearly 400, and Reuters was incorrect when they did. Anthony Michael found something. Good day, Chris Wyatt and the Wyatt Army. Please be calm. If it's your path to be chosen, then it'll be so. I'll wait my turn. All right, Anthony, I hope that it comes for you if that's what you want. The clouds are gathering. There you go. The last day of the month. The last day to get people to become subscribers on The Truth Report. Folks, Hendo, put a link up there. If you could go become a subscriber on The Truth Report, it would be very helpful to me. Well, it'll help my pocketbook. It'll help me get a chance to come back to South Africa because Rob Herself has offered to pay half my flight cost, which would save me some cash. If we get to 100,000 by the 31st. Well, we're not quite there. We've made some progress, but we are on the cusp and not quite there. We're 500 away. We need 500 more subscribers. If I almost wish 300 of you in this chat weren't subscribers, but most of you are. But 99,500 subscribers. It looks like it's becoming the all Rob Herself and Ronaldo Jose network. All the videos they recorded. Interesting. Right. My goodness. Well, there's the collaborations down there. I see it now. Okay. Cool. Okay. Collaborations at the bottom. Okay. All right. So I didn't see that on my channel. But the 99,500, we need 500 more to get there. Thank you for the super chat. But folks, please go subscribe to Truth Report. Even if you don't watch it, just subscribe. Make Rob pay. Marlene Kalitz, thanks for all your help and advice. It's been a terrible day at Home Affairs all day. Oh, I'm so sorry. So they made you last because you were white? That's not right. Been waiting for 6 months and I have now received my call code. There you go, Hein. See? 6 months you waited. Okay. Lisa Funda Mava, 14 Rand. I'm having my interviews the 3rd and 6th November. There you go. See? There you go. Yeah, Ronaldo wants all the limelight. Yes, that's not tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. No. It's not from tomorrow, Francis. Don't get it wrong. Let's not start spreading propaganda. Let Arctic get out of his obligation. This starts the 5th after the election. I said I have to have these on the election day because I need drinks, and this is what I take with me on election day. So, yeah, so the 5th of November to the 5th or the 4th of December. That's what we said. Let's not, but thank you for the reminder, but let's not spread propaganda. I have all weekend to enjoy my stary stumpies, as Ronaldo calls them. Edward O'Neill wants to know if, okay, I guess since we're doing the refugee stuff, I'll answer a few questions here. It is Friday. Edward O'Neill wants to know, do I know if someone had any issues because they were part of the Sightlanders group? Yes, I do. I do know of people that didn't have problems, people that face greater scrutiny because the U.S. government is poorly informed about Sightlanders. So, yes, but the people that I'm aware of, as far as I know, got through the process from that. Anime, hey, hi, Super C chats. Did not go through. Okay. Well, there's a super chat, 140 Rand. Thank you for that. And Gila just became a member. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it. Dog Break is here. Where's Dog Break? I haven't seen him in a while. Sylvia Ostoys and Lindsay Harris. Steve Green. Orangutan. Okay, yeah. So, do you think that there is maybe something happening in the background? I know a person that received a letter with a flight date. Okay, again, Sean, I've covered this endlessly. I've analyzed this. I've told people what is likely happening here is they anticipate something. But there's the embassy and Kenyans have no idea if there's going to be an agreement. Hell, the Senate doesn't know if there's going to be an agreement. Trump is today urging the end of the filibuster. He's urging the Republicans to disband the filibuster so they can just vote the money through. So that wouldn't be happening if there was something going on in the background. And Hein, thank you. Always keep us informed. Very welcome. Thank you for 35 Rand, Hein. Hey, Marilyn, how's it going? How's Lindsay? Anyway, so no, I don't think there's anything in the background. I think that they're being prudent. They anticipate that the Democrats will cave, and so they're booking flights out. They've probably been doing it all along, and just people haven't been saying anything. But they're booking flights out. It's like interviews in Cape Town. They're booking interviews in Cape Town. I don't know if the resources are there yet, but they're already booking them starting for the 1st of November. I don't think they're interview by Saturday and Sunday, so probably the 3rd of November. Someone here said they got 3rd of November. I don't know if that's in Pretoria, Joburg, or Cape Town. Also, I have anecdotal evidence that PE and Durban will be added as interview sites. No proof, anecdotal evidence of it, though. Okay? There's a difference in my mind. Okay. Can you please explain what does it mean when President Trump wants to use nuclear? What do you mean nuclear? I don't understand. There's two different things, Natasha. The nuclear option, that's to get rid of the filibuster. The nuclear option is what it's called. Nuclear, he's told the military to start testing nuclear weapons again, so I'm not sure what you're getting at. Okay, next week I was in the USP March in June this year for tourism. Completely assigned June as I was not fully aware of the refugee program. No, why would they penalize you? Why would he penalize? Do you suffer from unjust racial persecution in your homeland? Are you in South Africa? What penalty? Why would you penalize for going to America? It's silly. Edward O'Neill, 70 Rand. Super Chat, thank you. On a Friday, the last day of the month, a chance to push us over last month's abysmally low revenue. So these Super Chats are getting us there. And plus, if you watch the videos, the ads, that really helps. Anyway, so yeah, I know the Timo and Sheen ads get kind of boring, but, just watch them. All right. See, 5 November in Cape Town. Paul, you're not that late. We're just getting started because everybody keeps asking refugee questions on a lekker Freitag. Anyway, so this is actually a news story. Times Live gets credit for writing a news story. Oh, they didn't write it. I give Times Live all the credit, and look at this. Guess what? Look what's at the bottom. Reuters. Ah, damn it. I thought the Times Live actually read a story that wasn't propaganda, and I get to the bottom, and the story isn't even written by Reuters. They've just printed it under license from Reuters. I thought it was written by Times Live, and Reuters is the author. Bonnie Duplessis, to our hero for half a cup cappuccino. Thank you for the 40 Rand. Oh, I don't mind sharing it all, Gila. You missed last night's show. A couple people said that Rob should pay for business class, and I said that's going to be $7,000, $8,000, and that's exactly what it was. $8,000 for a business flight. I said a business class. I said there's no way anybody's going to pay for that. I'm certainly not. No, a flight to South Africa right now is running between $1,500 and $2,000 for economy. So my damaged hip can be jammed up into my face, and I suffer 15 hours of agonizing flight. And with a jackass in front of me that thinks he's on the beach and lowers his chair back like this and smashes my meal into my face and knocks it all over my lap. That's what I get for $2,000. Yep. Okay. I don't think that they're ever going to add any interviews in Nullsborough. You're going to have to get to Pretoria, Joburg, or somewhere like that. We have our approval letter and orientation, your provisional letter and orientation certificate. Do you think this will be from... Oh my gosh, Sandri. Okay. All right, guys. The news will be interspersed with constant response to refugee questions because that's what the flavor of the day is. So my regular viewers, if you're irritated by that, I apologize, but that is newsworthy. So let me answer the questions, all right? Because people obviously don't catch all my content. As we've seen the video that was sent to us by Alana, Obviously, YouTube is hiding this channel. She is unsubscribed 4 times, and none of her viewing history on this channel shows, none of the likes, nothing that she's done interactive with my channel shows. They stripped all of it, and that's what they do to people. They hide the history. They don't show you on your recent history, so you don't remember to come check out this channel. Anyway, so let me answer your question again. I've already answered it last night. So, folks, now this is not directed at anybody that asked the question, but I want to ask you all from a common sense perspective, why would anybody think that the people who are approved would not be part of this fiscal year? Did you move physically from South Africa to the United States in the current fiscal year? If you did, you're counted against this cap. The people who came before 1 October are in last year. We can't magically go back and pretend that you came here. It's based on your arrival. It's not based on your approval. There are 40, 50,000, 100,000 people around the world are currently approved. They're not in America. They're not in this cap. The cap matters when your bum hits the ground on our soil. So if you're not here, of course you'll be counted in the cap. I hope that explains that. You're in the cap. Unless they come up with some, kabuki magic to change that, you are in the cap. Yes, I know, Boss, I hope you're not getting alerts because YouTube is hiding my channel. And I don't mean to whine about it, but my viewers are the one that brought me the video. We showed it 2 times in a row. We've shown this now on the late night about how they're pulling this crap. So she's been unsubscribed 4 times. She gets no notifications, even when she is subscribed. She went to look for my channel, couldn't find it in her viewing history. It was as if she never watched it. So that shows that probably YouTube is deleting that view. YouTube is deleting the like that she published. She likes every one of it. She claims she watches every video. I have no reason to doubt her. This is evil. It's evil. This is why I need another platform. This is why I need someone with big bucks to fund and run a website, and I just produce the content. That's what I need. And then we can truly speak our minds. Can truly speak our minds. No, you're not, Chris. Calm down. You're not on any crappy list. By the way, I don't know what you put down for her. I don't know why you be so far back. Anyway, that's the first one. So the Department of International Relations Cooperation slams Trump's decision to prioritize white Afrikaner refugees. Hardly a surprise. That's the video I just produced. Somebody's cutting the grass. It's October 31st and someone's cutting the grass. Seriously? I don't know if you can hear that, but it's irritating. My goodness. The Trump administration has drastically reduced the refugee admissions cap after reform welcomed the decision to give Afrikaners a new start, claiming their lives have been destroyed by government discrimination and farm attacks. But a human rights lawyer argues there's no legal justification for prioritizing Afrikaners and says it undermines international refugee principles. Well, that's simply not true. Simply not true. Let's see where this international lawyer is down here. Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it here. I don't see an international lawyer. There's no international lawyer here in that story. Maybe I missed it. Yeah, that's just nonsense. These people are full of themselves. They really know what they're talking about here. It doesn't undermine any international norm. U.S. Immigration and Nationality Act conforms to international standards and norms. So if they want to sit here and lie to the world, then the South African government can continue to lie to the world, but we're not falling for it. And Lindy's a bit late, okay? Hang on a second. Give me a second here. Okay. All right. So Anthony says, just call me Mike from Nelspruit when you come visit. It's on me if I'm still in South Africa. Okay. Well, I keep talking about coming to Nelspruit. I haven't been there. I have a friend down there. He's a photographer, Johan Orton. I haven't been there in ages. Have we discussed Trump wanting to nuke the filibuster to reopen the government? No, Lindy. That's coming later because the refugee programs questions started coming fast and furious. Others have left comments on your videos that the same thing has happened to them. Sent you a screenshot of one of the comments. Thank you, Alana. Yep. Getting my passport in November. Hello, everyone. I'm a bit late today. Here's an idea that may make people relax, but the numbers board updated today, 4 categories. 1 applied, 2 contacted, 3 approved, 4 in the States. What numbers board? What are you talking about? Where are you getting that information from, Alan? Where's that board at? Marlene Gregorio, hello. Okay. I want candy. I want candy. No, you're fine, Lindy. We haven't got there. was just asking about being penalized in relation to some Jesus where he says Africa should. Okay, see, look, this is where we part company. Mad Max 14 Rand, Professor G and I part company. I mean, he's coming from the premise, understandable so, that someone who comes to America seeking asylum because their life's in jeopardy, they come here legally and they go, I need asylum. Then they got to prove it. If you come here from Myanmar, but then you're here and you're trying to get asylum and you go back to visit Myanmar, that undermines your claim. However, what Professor G, and I'm not attacking Professor G, so those who start to make that claim are full of it, so just full stop right there. What Professor G, at least in the stuff I've seen him say, doesn't equate is this situation. This is unique. It's in-country refugee resettlement. There is no war you're fleeing from. There are no buildings on fire. There are no people being rounded up and executed in gravel pits. This is not Kivu. This is not Darfur. This is in-country refugee resettlement. Therefore, arguably, it's orderly. The question isn't, did you come to America for an H-2A visa to work on a farm for 6 months and you've gone back? Did you come to America to visit your aunt for 3 days and then you went back, or come here for 2 months? That is not the question. As an adjudicator, as a judge who would review your case, that would not be germane to me unless you committed a crime here. Then we have a problem. But the fact that you came to America and went back to South Africa doesn't undermine your claim of racial persecution. In fact, you could have not been persecuted in South Africa, came to America, worked over here, visited somebody, went back, and then the persecution started on you. So that argument I toss out. He's an attorney. He's an asylum attorney. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying I'm right. But then that's what narcissists do, right? Jacques, does that make sense? Does that make sense? All right. Now, you can't hold me to it if I'm wrong, because I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just telling you from a person who's been a judge in legal situations, and a person who's been a criminal investigator, and a person who's done adjudication of cases, that the common sense approach to me, because the difference between asylum and refugee status is prove it because you're wrong as an asylum seeker, articulate it, explain why you believe. That's a huge gulf, very big gulf. I can prove that I was a victim of racial discrimination by the U.S. Army. Oh yeah, on at least 2 occasions. And the third one, I believe, which I'll never discuss, but 2. Once denying me a promotion for 9 months, not me, everyone, but because of racial discrimination. And the second time because racial discrimination came a promotion. Absolutely, 100%. Got the evidence of it. But I can't become a refugee in my own country. So I can prove that. And even if I can't prove it, if I were trying to be a refugee in Ireland, escaping from America, I could articulate that very clearly with a reasonable amount of documentation to support it. That's the difference. So, yeah, Professor G, people are interpreting his videos, in my view, incorrectly. He's coming at it from an asylum perspective, which is an adversarial process. Refugee status is not adversarial. We are not trying to break people down. We are not trying to make you prove that you deserve to be here. Number one, you're not here. If you're a refugee aspirant, you're not in America. But if you're an asylum seeker, that means you came here legally and then ran to us and said, I need protection. Well, that already raises red flags. Really? So that's what happens. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Wow, you got an email notification, Charlie. Maybe they're watching my videos and listening to what I'm saying, calling them out. All right. Utopi wants to hear the news. All right, save it for Sunday. Yeah, you're right. Well, the thing is, it's timely, though, Utopi, that this news story just came out. My interview lady that started, she's calling from Yosemite, stated, and she's from PRM. I mentioned that my wife has 10-year work visa. She clearly stated carries no relevance. See, there you go. Thank you for that, Gene Spence. No relevance. No relevance. If you have a visa, you've been in America before, it doesn't mean you're not being persecuted. Folks, you got to start using common sense here. You really got to apply common sense. Common sense must come into play. All right, let's get to the news. I want to check into something. So, Pretoria attacks Trump's refugee program and insults America. Okay. All right. I'm trying to put a AI description of my video in here. It looks good. Sometimes I have to correct them. They're just not quite They're not quite perfect, that's for darn sure. I'm going to need a image too, so hang on, we'll get to the news here. I'm starting to ignore the refugee stuff. Just want to get this video up, okay? All right. This is... Okay. Spokesman. There we go. All right, let me generate a thumbnail. That's going to be a refugee, bulker list. See, this is the stuff I have to do when I do that. So you guys are getting a little bit behind the scenes here, what's going on. So, Puri. Okay. Okay, let's see if it gave me a good thumbnail. I don't think these are good thumbnails. Let's see. Got 3 options here. I don't like any of them. I'll go with that one, I guess. All right. Sorry about that, folks. Now we get back to where we were. 480 people here. That's more like it. All right. So, Braun, what's going on? CJ. There's a lot of chat coming here I'm missing. So thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Paul says, at least you give the correct explanation without being biased. I'm not biased. I don't want any of you to come here. Don't come on my lawn. I also don't want to stop any of you. That's not my role here. I can't. That doesn't mean I don't help people. I do have a heart. But yeah, no, it's I don't have a dog in this fight when it comes to that. Alrighty, back to the news. And that was the news that we started off with, was the refugee stuff. So NUMSA, Numbnuts, the union, is considering a strike after rejecting car makers' final offer. Yep, the National Union of Mine Workers said its members will have to decide whether to embark on a strike at the country's 7 car manufacturing companies after rejecting the employer's revised offer. Automotive Manufacturers Employers Association Organization, AMIO, representing 7 original equipment manufacturers, OEM, Toyota, Nissan, Isuzu, Ford, VW, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz, tabled what it called a final and full settlement offer on Thursday for 7% increases in the first year, 5.5% in the next 2 years. Wow. So they're getting nearly 20% pay rise, and they're going to go on strike. What a greedy bunch of bastards. What a greedy bunch of bastards. 20% pay rise over 3 years, and they're going to go on strike? Wow. Johannesburg has reinstated or revoted in Floyd Brink as the city manager, who was accused of being falsely appointed by the council previously. He has now been voted in after a long hiatus. Johannesburg City Council has approved the appointment of Floyd Brink as manager during an ordinary council meeting in Braamfontein. The council approved his appointment during the council meeting yesterday. It ends months of delays in filling the position. He's not new to the role. He previously served as city manager before the Johannesburg High Court ruled last year that his appointment had been irregular and ordered him to step down, which he promptly did. Floyd Brink is back as the city manager. Well, the African National Congress and the courts of South Africa under the Government of National Unity are rewriting history without any witnesses present, without any evidence to support it, just conjecture. Thank you, Dorothea. Welcome to you. Dorothea, thank you very much for joining us as a member. Without any genuine evidence, the court in Pietermaritzburg has now determined that Chief Albert Lutuli was murdered by special branch operators. They don't identify special branch operators. They don't identify the circumstances. They produce no DNA evidence. They produce no physical evidence. They produce no video evidence, no photographs, nothing. Simply experts telling us that a train couldn't have done that. Now, it may very well be that South Africa's special branch of the police actually did beat and murder Chief Albert Lutuli, but it beggars the imagination. By the time that this occurred in 1967, he was an afterthought. Chief Lutuli wasn't even a figure in the ANC movement at that point, because they had gone from peaceful opposition to the apartheid government to active terrorism, and he was no longer involved with them. Nelson Mandela began that nonsense by the formation of Umkhonto we Sizwe, and then he was rapidly rounded up with other treasonous terrorists and tried at Rivonia. After that, Lutuli was pushed aside and was not a factor, and he died from head wounds And now they're rewriting history. 58-year-old lie shattered as court rules Nobel Prize winner Lutuli was murdered. With no evidence. Not a lie. It's propaganda. Judge Numpumumelo Radebe ruled on Thursday that Chief Albert Lutuli was murdered by apartheid officers in 1967, overturning 58 years of official lies, claiming he died accidentally after being struck by a train. The court found he died from a fractured skull, cerebral hemorrhage, and contusion of the brain associated with an assault, exposing conspiracy involving security police, railway employees, and medical personnel. They identified specific perpetrators, including train driver. Oh, they do have them now. I'm sorry. My apologies. I correct my story. That was not in the initial reports. Now they claim now they're actually throwing aspersions upon people without evidence. Stephanus Albertus Ladigan, Detective Sergeant Charles Bernard Petrus Lewis, recommending full investigation of the crimes and the disappearance of key witness Mbo Mayandu. Delivered the judgment in a reopened inquest opened by Ronnie Lamola when he was the Minister of Injustice. The court found the original inquest was a sham, with Magistrate C.I. Boswell reaching the predetermined conclusions before the testimony. Court identified specific perpetrators. These individuals committed crimes ranging from perjury to being accessories to murder. The judgment vindicates years of advocacy by Lutuli family anti-apartheid activists who refused to accept the official story. But there's no evidence offered. The court just decided that this is the case. They apparently heard expert witnesses in train dynamics. But, yeah. Rewriting history. That's right, Adam Bernard, and that's what's going on. They will do anything to keep apartheid and racism alive, because that's the only thing they can hold on to keep their voters. Fire Dragon, thank you, 50, for... I'm not a coffee addict. This is not coffee. It's a coffee-like drink. It's mostly milk and sugar, but thank you. And you'll find out starting November 5th that I'm not an addict because I won't be drinking it for a month. Yep. Storm brewing for South Africa's airports. Oh boy, no air traffic controllers. Shortage of air traffic controllers is compromising service delivery by state-owned company that manages the nation's airspace. In the 2025 annual report, the state-owned air traffic and navigation services said that the exodus of skilled personnel from its ranks is exacerbated by international peers poaching its staff. They have the sole responsibility for ensuring air safety in South Africa. They've launched a project to attract back lost skills, and a process may involve reviewing its pay. Well, I should think so. Aggressive global poaching, particularly from major airports following events such as the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, further compounded the issue. Aviation analyst Guy Leach has raised serious concerns about the ongoing exodus of skilled professionals from South Africa's aviation sector, warning that the trend is putting service delivery, safety, and the country's global reputation at risk. Well, not to worry, Guy. South Africa's global reputation is in the toilet bowl. Yeah, Dorothea, it just gave a 59 Rand super chat for becoming a member. Thank you for that. Andres Muller, what's going on? Thank you for being here. 503 people here. Wow, somehow the word got out today. Thank you all for joining me once again. Public interest. Major General Bantu Holomisa laid down a marker, and now the media are questioning him. Kabelo Kumalo questions this, saying the public interest South Africa questions Holomisa's motives regarding the PIC. Public Interest South Africa, a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting transparency and ethical governance, has taken UDM leader and Deputy Defense Minister Major General Bantu Holomisa to task over his call for President Ramaphosa to appoint a commission of inquiry. Having said that there had already been a commission of inquiry, why isn't General Holomisa asking for that report to be released? That's a fair question. But I tend to believe General Holomisa, who's an honorable man, and perhaps we need more scrutiny in the Public Investment Corporation, which has been up to shenanigans, according to many people investigating this issue. The University of Cape Town Council has acted against the university's best interest in Gaza. That's the resolution. And the court hears this. This story's been going on for a few weeks because UCT professor Adam Mendelssohn has challenged the university's resolutions on Middle East conflict, claiming they were unlawful and against the best interest of the university, which they are. He's correct. So the case arises from Mendelssohn's application to have the council's resolutions adopted back in June 2023 declared unlawful, unconstitutional, and invalid. He heads the University Department of Historical Studies and contends that the council failed to act in the best interest of the institution. And all the money that the university has lost is exactly right. They've lost hundreds of millions of rand. They've lost money from Dell. They've also lost it from 200 million from the Donald Gordon Foundation. 200 million rand gone from the Donald Gordon Foundation because of their anti-Semitic racist bigotry. They also lost sponsorship for 288 students from the Dell Foundation. Yep. Stupid people should wear signs. Absolutely. Well, a Chicom manufacturing facility in Port Elizabeth, check it out. Major Chinese car maker will build their crappy cars in South Africa. BAIC says its new B30 SUV will be assembled locally at the company's Koga facility in Geberghe. Chinese car brand said the manufacturing marks a major step in the brand's long-term commitment to the South African market. You mean long-term consuming of the market? Our Koga facility was built to support long-term growth. In addition to the B30, underscores our confidence market and our intention to become a truly local brand. The 11 billion rand Koga plant, which is one of the largest industrial investments in South Africa's automotive sector, currently assembles the BAIC B40 Plus and the X55 models. Now they'll also produce the B30 SUV. Yay, Chinese communists building cars in South Africa. Walmart is coming to South Africa as well. Its first store will open, no kidding, in Rudaport. 80 jobs in Rudaport with his first store. Debbie Fox, 350 Rand Super Chat. Clouds are gathering. Thank you for that, Debbie. I appreciate it. Final day of the month. We're pushing through. The company said on Thursday it would open its first store at Clearwater Mall in Rudaport, setting a fierce retail price war in motion ahead of the highly anticipated Black Friday and holiday season festivities. The Hyprop-owned mall confirmed that the retailer would occupy space on its upper level, introducing its everyday low prices model to shoppers for the first time. Wow. There you go, folks. Walmart will be opening soon, just in time for Black Friday. King Mizuzulu Kwa Swelithini is marrying yet another woman. South African citizens who do not believe in polygamy are forced to subsidize it. King Mizuzulu is set to wed his third wife, Queen Nomzamo Myeni, next Sunday. It's good to be sleeping with all these women, I suppose. Zulu King Mizuzulu Kwa Swelithini will tie the knot in a traditional wedding with his third wife at the Royal Palace in northern KwaZulu-Natal next Sunday. The date for the wedding was postponed in January. Now it's taking place, probably because of all the politics going on. So a third wife, what is he, like the Swazi? Is this the Reed dance? Not the best in the country, says the man living in someone else's 30 million rand mansion. Yeah, not the best in the country. The man with untold wealth and unexplained wealth, the Deputy President of South Africa, Paul Mashatile, is complaining about the DA-run Western Cape. There you go. Look at that mansion he lives in. Deputy President Paul Mashatile criticized Western Cape's municipal model, citing inequality, despite President Ramaphosa's remarks about his achievements. Mashatile clarified Ramaphosa's comments, stating that he referred to clean audits, not the DA-led municipality as a governance ideal. Mashatile, who has a 28.9 million rand mansion in the exclusive Constantia area, criticized service delivery in the Western Cape townships. What does he know about the townships? Can somebody please tell me the last time anybody in the townships, anyone in Khayelitsha, anyone in Monenberg, which isn't a township, but it's anyone in Monenberg or Khayelitsha or any of those places, can you tell me the last time, when have you seen Paul Mashatile walking the streets of Khayelitsha? People can say they saw me because during the South Africa's elections, I was at 5 polling stations in Khayelitsha. I didn't see any ANC bigwigs. I certainly didn't see Paul Mashatile. What does he know about what's going on in Cape Flats? I know more about it than he does. Absolutely ridiculous. Illegal Starlink is doing quite well in South Africa, despite not being licensed. My broadband analysis shows that Starlink speeds and latency have improved substantially in South Africa during 2025 when it's illegal to operate there. While not officially available in South Africa, many homes and businesses are using Starlink as a primary broadband solution through its roaming plans. It allows customers with kits registered and first activated in countries where Starlink was launched to use the network while traveling abroad. Some have violated Starlink's term of service by reselling subscriptions while having control of their own other people's accounts. Others merely facilitated the importing of the hardware. Interesting. But my broadband speed test, the download speed was 12.45 megabytes per second. Uploads were 5.37 megabytes per second with a latency of 381 milliseconds. That's kind of a high latency. But that's pretty good upload, 5.37 megabytes over a satellite link. Pretty good. A Swiss couple who aren't Swiss. See, that's the problem. So I watched this video on YouTube last night of all these women, young ladies in Korea who are brought on this called World Friends or something like that. They've got 1.9 million subscribers. And there's a German, a Swiss, an Austrian, then an American, then a Flemish, then a Dutch, and then a Afrikaans girl, all working in South Korea, ostensibly teaching languages. And the Afrikaans girl is half Portuguese. The Swiss girl is not Swiss. She's an Arab. The Flemish girl is not Flemish. She's some other immigrant. And they're all standing up there speaking authoritatively for the culture of people. It isn't their culture. It was pretty entertaining. Anyway, these people are not Swiss. They're Swiss nationals, but they're not Swiss. They're not French. They're not Rhéto-Romanche. They're not German. They're not French. Swiss couples honeymoon grounded as refugee status sparks visa dispute in Cape Town. So this man traveled without a passport, and he thought he could get into the country. I don't know how he got in other countries. A Swiss couple's honeymoon was interrupted at a Cape Town International Airport when the husband, holding a Swiss refugee travel document, was denied entry due to visa requirements. The couple claims they were detained in unsanitary conditions. However, she chose to remain. That was her choice. She wasn't detained. She had entry. They spent part of their honeymoon locked in a small, unhygienic detention room at Cape Town International Airport before being deported. Serhat Sirahan and his new wife, Bahar, landed Saturday. Sirhan holds travel documents from Switzerland while his wife holds a passport from the same country. Neither are Swiss nationals. Well, they're Swiss nationals. She's a Swiss national. He says he was born there, so he claims to be a Swiss national, but he doesn't have a Swiss passport. Why is he traveling on refugee documents if he was born in Switzerland? Which means they didn't confer citizenship on him. Therefore, he should have a passport from his origin, wherever that is. It sounds like somewhere in the Caucasus. Not Swiss. Take-A-Lot announces big sale, folks. It's time once again to spend your money. The 2025 Blue Dot sales date and deals. The Blue Dot sale countdown for 2025 runs from 3 to 23 November, with the Blue Dot sale that will run from 25 November to 1 December. So there will be deals from 3 to 23 November on large and small appliances, televisions, and tech, and then furniture, then books, toys, pets. Starting from November 25th, the Blue Dot sale will run through Cyber Monday on December 1st. All right, folks, if you buy from Take-A-Lot, get ready to spend some money. Executions and mass casualties. Videos show the horror unfolding in Sudan, while South Africa remains silent. Evidence of atrocities emerging from the city of El Fasher stoke fears that the Sudanese region of Darfur is plunging once again into a cycle of genocidal violence. With dozens of bodies scattered around him against a backdrop of burning vehicles, a sole survivor begged for his life. A Sudanese paramilitary commander known as Abu Lulu leaned over the man, listened to his desperate pleas, but he had little time for them. Standing up, Abu Lulu ignored the man's imprecations, casually shot him dead, and kept walking. The execution, depicted in a video circulating online and verified by the New York Times, was one of numerous series of violence to emerge from the besieged Sudanese city of El Fasher. Videos and witness counts show trenches filled with bodies and fighters with paramilitary force, rapid support forces hunting down civilians as they flee. The images of these and other atrocities have been set off global outrage, but not from South Africa. No, not from South Africa. No, nothing from South Africa. U.S. is complaining about it, but not South Africa. South Africa's government is busy rubbishing the United States, complaining about the refugee program, but they're not. They're not rubbishing this. This is nonsense. Okay, let me get this up real quick. So Pretoria attacks Trump's refugee program and insults America. Okay. Golda Kruger, thank you for your membership of 5 months. Appreciate that. Right. Okay, I can make this go live now. So I'm going to make that video because it's done scanning it to make sure that I didn't put inappropriate things in there. Ugh, so sick of that system. You get people that put pornography on YouTube. You don't even block them. Publish. Okay, that video is now published. So hopefully it'll take off, but I doubt it will. Good to see, well, we're now under 500 here. We've dropped under 500. That's a bummer. But we're still doing all right here on the channel. We got 479. Oh, people leaving here. Okay. ISIS causing havoc. They're not ISIS. They're just calling themselves ISIS. ISIS doesn't operate Mozambique. That's fiction. That is just what they claim. Someone calling themselves. I mean, I can call myself a teapot. It doesn't make me a teapot. Not a teapot. Sudan's militia is causing havoc. Now they're armed with drones. They're hunting down black population Darfur. Okay. Sudan's civil war is taking a jarring turn in Darfur, where an Arab-led militia is now using state-of-the-art drones and execution squads to dominate the region's black population. So they bring race into it. President Xi delivers a cold warning to those who would cooperate with the United States, raising the stakes after his meeting with Trump. At an Asia-Pacific summit, the Chinese leader urged countries to resist unilateral bullying, an appeal that seems at odds with his country's recent actions. Indeed, and he's the country doing unilateral bullying. China's leader Xi Jinping, the de facto geopolitical heavyweight at the Asia-Pacific Economic Summit, on Friday courted countries for trade and investment, but also implicitly warned them not to join the United States in reducing the world's reliance on Chinese supply chains. President Trump's departure from South Korea a day earlier meant that Mr. Xi was the sole superpower leader at the summit. At the opening of the meeting, he could be seen smiling and shaking hands. World leaders and economic and finance ministers came up to greet him. And he seized the moment to basically contradict what he just told Trump. These are duplicitous bastards, the Chinese communists. Turning our attention to Europe, Prince Andrew is no longer Prince Andrew. Nope. Now he's just a mister. He's just like you and me. Prince Andrew is stripped of his royal title by King Charles. Andrew's friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, new revelations about long-standing abuse allegations, forces the king's hand. Wow. Then Prince Andrew leaves Westminster Abbey in 2023 coronation ceremony. After years of damaging headlines over his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and allegations the prince sexually abused a teen, King Charles III decided to take the nuclear option on his youngest brother. Andrew will be stripped of all his titles and kicked out of the 30-room Windsor mansion he currently lives in. Buckingham Palace said he would now be known simply as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and will be relocated to a house on the Sandringham estate, which the monarch privately owns. Prince Andrew denies allegations of abuse, but palace officials said there has been serious lapses of judgment on his behalf. The issue has taken on urgency as fresh details surface on Andrew's alleged abuse decades ago of a 17-year-old girl introduced to him by Epstein. His accuser, Virginia Giuffre, who died by her own hand this year, penned a memoir published this fall in which she alleges Andrew treated having sex with her as his birthright. He says he has no recollection of meeting her and settled a sex abuse lawsuit back in 2022. British police are also looking into recent media claims Andrew tried to get a police officer assigned for his personal protection to look into that woman when the allegations first surfaced. Not looking good. The demotion is unprecedented in scale for the House of Windsor. Andrew will lose his titles: Prince, Duke of York, Earl of Inverness, Baron Kilay, and style His Royal Highness. Look, King Charles, if you're looking for a new Duke of York or the Earl of Inverness, I'm available. I love York. Jorvik. Viking Jorvik is one of my favorite places, and I have ancestors from Inverness. So if you want to make me Earl of Inverness or the Duke of York, I'm available. I'm just saying. I'll even keep the beard if it helps. I'm available, King Charles. Now, this is a country that's lost its way. The people that vandalized Stonehenge, they're declared not guilty. Just Stop Oil activists acquitted of Stonehenge criminal damage. 3 Just Stop Oil activists who took part in a protest in which Stonehenge was sprayed with orange powder have been found not guilty of criminal damage after citing human rights law in their defense. Human rights law. Human rights law. They're criminals. They should be in prison. Rajan Naidu. What the hell is that? That's not English. An Oxford University student named Lynch had been accused of using 2-color blasters filled with corn flour, talc, and orange dye to spray the ancient monument. Salisbury Crown Court was told the pair, together with third activist Luke Watson, targeted Stonehenge as part of an ongoing fossil fuel protest by the Just Stop Oil group the day before last year's summer solstice, where around 15,000 people were due to gather. The two of them, including Lynch, then an Oxford University student, crossed the boundary ropes and trespassed into an area beyond the monument before launching the attack. Prosecutors alleged the protest had been carefully planned and was filmed by another Just Oil Stop supporter and released publicly afterwards. Prosecutions say this is an act of blatant and clear vandalism. The intention is undoubtedly to make a statement. They were arrested afterwards. The court heard the stones were promptly cleaned and the cost of removing the powder totaled 620 pounds. Mr. Jones added Stonehenge is arguably the most best recognized and architecturally sophisticated prehistoric stone circle in the world, built about 5,000 years ago. Stones are a protected ancient monument. The 3 defendants denied charges of damaging an ancient protected monument and causing public nuisance. Okay, well, first off, whether they damaged it or not isn't the point. They defaced it, and they did cause a public nuisance. The defendants argued it was a peaceful protest, that the rights of others were not greatly interfered with, and that the care had been taken in choosing the type of power to use. Judge Paul Dugdale told the jury in his legal directions that they had to assess where the balance lies in the case and whether conviction would be a proportionate interference with the defendant's rights. In a society, there will be those whose opinions we agree with and those who we disagree with, he said. The essence of free society and freedom of speech is that everyone's entitled to express their opinion, even when we disagree. No, that's not true. That's not true. Tell it to the 18-year-old kid serving a 1-year prison sentence for carrying the Union Jack, a British flag, on British soil, on a British street, in public, opposite of a mosque. He's in prison. You don't have free speech in England. You're liars in the United Kingdom. That's bullshit. This is a free pass for leftist criminals who deface ancient monuments. They should be in jail. They're dangerous. My goodness. Hurricane Melissa barreled through the Caribbean and eventually hit the Bahamas after lashing Cuba. Heavy rain, flash floods, and winds of 100 miles an hour, which make it a Category 1. Anything above that becomes Category 2, and so on. Hurricane brought heavy rain, widespread flooding, winds close to 100 miles an hour to the central and southeast Bahamas. The Corps left the islands by midnight, the service said, leaving behind hurricane and tropical storm conditions that were expected to abate by sunrise. But look at the damage. That's in Cuba. Pummeled Jamaica as a Category 5 storm on Tuesday. And now it's worked its way out to sea. There you go. Pretty brutal. Well, the death toll from a Rio de Janeiro police raid on drug gang has risen to 121. No one's talking about this story. No one's talking about this story. The death toll in a massive police raid targeting a drug trafficking gang rose to 121 people. An operation launched Tuesday in two of the city's favelas sparked intense, those are townships, favelas, sparked intense gun battles that left at least 4 police officers dead and an unknown number of people wounded. Officials raised the death toll from 119 to 121. Good Lord. The Trump administration, a judge will rule on whether emergency funding for food stamps can be used. The judge is set to rule today on whether the Trump administration must reverse course and continue to fund the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program during the government shutdown. Without a last-minute intervention, the decades-old safety net that now aids 42 million people is set to run out of funds on Saturday. But it's illegal. So the judge is going to order the Trump administration to violate the law? That's interesting. Trump has called for the nuclear option on the Senate floor. He wants Republicans to end the filibuster. The president said it was time for GOP leaders to get rid of the longstanding rule that means most Senate legislation needs 60 votes to pass. President Trump called on Senate Republicans late Thursday to eliminate the filibuster to force an end to the government shutdown, a move that would strip away a deeply rooted Senate rule. Republicans hold 53 of the 100 seats in the Senate. Democrats have repeatedly blocked the measure allowing funding for the government this month, as they argue that expiring subsidies tied to the Affordable Care Act must also be reinstated. No, they mustn't be. You Democrats created the law. Senate Republicans leaders have reluctance to make further changes to the filibuster. Both parties have tried to erode the filibuster in recent years, but have stopped far short of eliminating it. Many Republicans fear that invoking the nuclear option with the changes to filibuster could come back to haunt them if Democrats regain control of Congress. Yep, the president's made his demand as a lapse in funding for anti-poverty programs loom. So the president wants the money to be passed so that people can be fed, and a court wants the president to violate the law. Go figure. Crazy world. James Comey attacks the perjury and obstruction charges in new motions. The court filings added to legal challenges that Comey's defense team has already raised against the indictment. Lawyers for James Comey, the reprobate who was the director of the FBI, sought on Thursday to dismiss perjury and obstruction charges against him, arguing that federal prosecutors botched the indictment by misusing the grand jury process and accusing him of telling a lie that he never told. He did lie. He lied in front of the world. We all heard him lie. He also lied to the President of the United States. He also violated the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. That's what he should be charged with, the crimes in the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, not lying to Congress. Who cares if people lie to Congress? They're not exactly honorable people. SNAP benefits set to lapse this weekend as government shutdown stretches into day 31 today. Food stamps are going away. Yep. And so is my pay. Active duty not getting paid. Air traffic controllers not getting paid. Chris Wyatt not getting paid. It seems to be a trend. Well, who's getting food stamps? 1 in 8 Americans losing their food stamps. 42 million people. Wow. So, households under the poverty line, 20 and 50 use SNAP. So, about 40% of the households under the poverty line are using SNAP. So, 60% don't. Households where someone has a disability, 10 out of 50, that's 20%. Households with children, 9 in 50, so that's 18%. Black households, 24%. Native American households, 22%. Hispanic households, 18%. Asian households, 10%. And white households, 4%. Look at that. Whites, only 4% are living off of food stamps. But the pictures they always show, the photographs that always appear in the Washington Post and everywhere else, invariably are white people on food stamps. That's who they talk to, white people on food stamps. But 24% of black households are on food stamps. despite 4% unemployment. What's wrong with that picture? A couple things. Anyway, SNAP benefits. New Mexico residents have the highest percentage of SNAP recipients. They've got a lot of Native Americans there. All right. The Disney networks, including ESPN, go dark on YouTube. YouTube accuses Disney of proposing terms that disadvantage its members while benefiting its own products in the latest industry standoff over costs. Disney networks went dark on YouTube after negotiations to reach a licensing deal failed. Standoff between the media giants comes amid a wider industry battle over streaming costs and market shares. Affected Disney networks include ABC News Live, ABC, ESPN, Nat Geo, FX, National Geographic Wild, and the Disney Channel. YouTube, one of the largest pay TV distributors in the United States with more than 10 million subscribers, issued a statement on X just before the deal was set to expire at midnight. Statement from YouTube said that Disney's proposed terms would raise prices for its subscribers and benefit Disney's own live TV service, including Hulu Plus and Live TV. YouTube has been locked in negotiations this year for a number of firms threatening to pull their media networks off the platform. With a $3 trillion market cap, Google is using its market dominance to eliminate competition, undercut the industry standard terms we've successfully negotiated with every other distributor, Disney claimed. YouTube said it will compensate subscribers with a $20 credit if the Disney networks remain unavailable on the platform for an extended period. Wow. So Disney is pulling out of YouTube, but NBC Universal has struck an agreement with YouTube, which also includes access to Peacock. Wow. Google and NBC Universal reached a multi-year agreement on October 2nd to keep NBC shows, including Sunday Night Football and America's Got Talent, on YouTube. Interesting. So there you go. So they've reached an agreement while others are walking away, Disney specifically. Amazon shares soar as the artificial intelligence boom fuels stellar growth in Amazon Web Services cloud unit. The same people who illegitimately cut Parler off the network. Amazon shares surged more than 11% early trading this morning after strong growth in its cloud unit and bullish sales outlook eased fears that the tech giant was falling behind rivals in its AI race. Revenue at Amazon Web Services, the hub of the company's recent AI investments, rose 20% in the third quarter, although Microsoft Azure's revenue increased by 40%. Well, congratulations to Amazon Web Services. A GOP senator is taking a look at the VA disability system, Tommy Tuberville, in the wake of the Washington Post bullshit investigation into fraud within the Veterans Affairs disability system, watchdog recommendations that the VA modernize its rating schedule, a Republican senator suggested creating a commission to review the VA's disability compensation program. At a Senate Veterans Affairs Committee hearing Wednesday, Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama questioned whether the Veterans Benefits Administration needs subject matter experts to examine the claims process and recommend improvements. Interesting. Well, I don't know if that's good news or bad news for veterans. Don't know. Ireland and the All Blacks. Saturday, folks. Woo! It's on like Donkey Kong. Back in Chicago. Ireland's Caelan Doris is making a comeback from injury, and the world champion South Africa will be playing Japan at Wembley. So, there's Josh van der Fleer and Nick Timoney in Chicago. It's back to where it all started for Ireland, and by it, we mean any kind of success against the All Blacks. With that, of course, comes credibility on the world stage, a status they still enjoy. On Saturday night, UK and Ireland time, afternoon in the United States, Ireland will take on New Zealand at Soldier Field in Chicago. Before any considerations of team news and vibes, the words Ireland, New Zealand, and Soldier Field will transmit many a rugby fan back to the not quite 9 years on 5th of November 2016. Ireland, at the 29th time of asking, finally prevailed over the All Blacks 111 years after their first shot at them. There you go. So will they be able to repeat what they did at Soldier Field? Will the magic be there for the Irish? Maybe. We'll see. I can't say unequivocally. All right. There's your news updates for today. And now I'll take questions and comments from the audience. Let's see. In 2 weeks, I'm going to visit the new Amazon data center in Indiana. Okay, cool. They moved your hours to, okay. My thoughts, exactly, Colonel Snap, with 4% unemployment, perhaps 4% whites make up 4% unemployment. No, Varushka, what it is that the government has raised the level of who can qualify for food stamps to a ridiculously high level that many of the people who get food stamps don't need them. They don't need them. Like the gentleman who was interviewed by the Washington Post recently and said, well, I make enough money, but because I get food stamps, then I don't have to spend my money on the food stamps, so I can put that money in the bank and save it. So you take my money that I can't save for myself and my family to increase my wealth, and it goes to you so you can have food stamps, so you can have money in the bank. No, that's just wrong. This shutdown is shocking, especially as it affects so many people. Well, it is shocking. They do that because there's a minimum amount of hours to qualify for health insurance. I'm not sure what you're talking about, limp giraffe neck. South Africa, Australia is not offering refugee assistance to South Africans, Renee. Oh, boy, what else we got here? Walmart has a history of kidding your working. What does that mean, kidding your working hours? What does that mean? What is Roberto Wilkinson? The government should offer refugee status to South Africans. Oh, they're not going to. South Africa won't. Oh, just some context regarding the propaganda regarding the refugees from South Africa. The Murdoch Press had a hit piece in Australia regarding this, and it backfired. Technically, as Aussies said the government should offer. Well, maybe Australian citizens, but as long as Albanese is there, not going to change. Do you think Trump should extend the refugee cap to include Sudanese, considering the recent developments? Also considering Biden did the same for the Ukrainians. I don't have an opinion on that. I don't have an opinion on it. There are plenty of Sudanese who are already approved. There are Sudanese who've already on the refugee list just haven't come here. So I'm not sure what that means. Stonehenge used a lot of fossil fuel. Exactly. Yeah. Why? Go destroy Stonehenge because it's the epitome of the petroleum hydrocarbon economy. What a bunch of nonsense. Those people need to be horsewhipped. And now they get off. They're going to be heroes to the left because they challenge authority and they claim human rights. I mean, human rights. You're destroying our patrimony. Yeah, nothing's sacred, John. That's why they need to be horsewhipped. That's the only solution. Okay, my phone is at 100%. Good. Continue to live the life of luxury and excess. His daughters and wife didn't lose their titles. He just has to live with shame. Yeah, exactly, while flying private jets. Yep. He's a commoner. Well, he's pretty common, all right. He's ordinaire, as we say in German. Cheers, Colonel Mods. Tom is out of here. I'm calling it early night. Tired of stressing. Okay, sorry to hear you stressing, Tom. Greta Thunberg isn't too bothered about the happenings in Sudan. No, she's not. Or Myanmar or in China. Yeah, she can't be bothered. But she's all in on Gaza. Did you see a message from Mays? Need to reach out to you after stream, please. No, I didn't. I did not see anything from Mays. Okay. Hendo. Hendo is sending a message in Afrikaans. Hendo sent me a message, when you pay to sign a petition. If you're talking about the petition Ronaldo put up, you don't pay. Okay, let's put this to bed. People need to pay attention. You don't pay. Unless it's changed in the past several days, you can make a voluntary donation. That's for Change.org, the leftist organization. That's how they fund themselves. But you don't have to pay to sign the petition. All right? If that's what it's about. But there's nothing about Mays. I have no message from Hendo about Mays. No message from Mays. No. Who needs to reach me? Anime? They do or you do? I have nothing from Hendo. Oh, you asked for a quick call. No, I didn't have time at that time. I was busy. Anyway, we can chat later. All right. Golda Kruger, thank you for your membership of 3 months, or 5 months, excuse me. Naomi, what's going on? My Oaks Trump is the boring with the ANC. The more they annoy him, the more refugees he'll take. Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry about 7,500. That's what I'm saying. It's what money? Who's talking about money? If you read the full Starlink article, they show the speed improved a lot. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying it's illegal. South Africa isn't issued an operating license for Starlink in South Africa. For Walmart to operate in South, they will have to be about. Yeah, they will. It's just I don't know how they're going to get away with that. Don't know how they're going to get away with that. Mays is thanking Debbie for my super chat. I assume. What did Mays say? I'm looking for something from Mays. Mays said hi to Sari Skuman. When you read the transcripts of those UCT board meetings, it's crazy. Woke, anti-Semitic, and racially biased against minorities. Yeah, it is. Blatant racism. They get away with it. All right, now I'm back at the bottom here. Remember when the Stop Oil people stopped the truck from moving because it was transporting oil, and when the interviewer asked them to speak about we need to save the planet, it was cooking oil. Yep. Something about oil. What do they think is in their clothes? Exactly. First college football game, Alabama versus Oklahoma. Ooh, in Tuscaloosa. That should be great. College football is absolutely crazy, Dirk, especially the big schools. Yeah, it's crazy. Go to Penn State. 120,000 people watching the game. And the stadium is like, you look straight down. It's amazing. I went there in November. It was cold. Took a couple of African students and they froze their butts off, but we had a good time. CNN is really hell now. It is, Teresa. It is. And where's the ANC? So many questions on what your predictions are. Are you perhaps psychic? I sent you a WhatsApp this week, which is a bit important. Please have a look at it. Okay, Asmari. Let me look and see if I got anything from you. I do. You sent it yesterday. This week, you sent it yesterday. You sent it yesterday. That's not this week. That's yesterday. You make it sound like I've been not seeing it for a whole week. Come on, man. That's not fair. You're welcome, Del Marie, for the news. With the current administration taking out drug boats and stopping the mafia, what do you predict the mafia doing in retaliation? I don't see much attack on the mafia. I see it on the drug industry. The drug cartels will go after low-level, military if they can identify them, and also DEA agents. That'll escalate the war. And who knows? It could go higher from there. Active duty pay authorized military retirement checks will have been sent out. Where are you getting that information from? Where are you getting that information from? So, let's see. Pay comes on the last day of the month if the first is on a weekend. Oh, you are right. You are correct. You are correct. I'll be damned. Well, I stand corrected. Oh, look at that. Where I sit on here. Let me stand. Let me stand correct. Wow. Who said that? Where'd you get that information from, Chugsy? Where'd you get that information from? Where did they find the money? I've gotten paid. Woohoo! and guess what? Today I find out whether my consulting gig is canceled in November. If my consulting gig is canceled in November, suddenly I have some free time in my hands. Wow. I have gotten paid because it comes on the last day of the month if the first day is on a weekend or a holiday. Looky there. Looky there. I got paid. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That's a shocker. That is a shocker. My goodness. Who knew? I wasn't expecting to get paid. They said we weren't going to get paid. Where did they find the money? Or did they pay us illegally? I mean, maybe they paid us illegally. Not only that, I got my retirement and I got my disability payment, which isn't that much, but I got both. Wow. Wow. I'm excited. Woohoo! And I've already, it depends on the orangutan juice. I use Firefox and the tabs tend to crash a lot now with YouTube. I don't know what they do. It's been going on for about a year. Wow, I got paid. That's exciting. I don't know how that happened. Thank you, Chugsy. Where'd you get that information from? Yeah, you're right. They have been sent. I checked. It's there. It's there. Wow. Cronier Sten wants me to explain the filibuster. Sure. Okay. I'll get that in a second, filibuster. Remember when? Okay. I think the Trump administration uses the term Afrikaner to mean refer to minorities. I agree, Heinrich Havanga. I agree. I also think it's a blind eye to mess with the left. I agree with you 100%, Heinrich. No better feeling than getting paid when you didn't expect it. No kidding, Dirk. Yeah, especially after I paid for my bills out of my business account. It's my personal business, so that's not illegal. I just took money out because it's my money. I took money out of there. Yep. Wow. Yeah, now I can get some Amarula. Marlene says that's great. It's great. I'm shocked. Can I borrow $1? Sure, Tom. I knew somebody was going to say that. Now you have to refund all the super chats. No, doesn't work like that. Not sure if you follow this side of YouTube, but a good amount of content creators are moving to South Africa in spite of what's going on. What content creators are moving to South Africa? And how do they move there? You have to have a permit to live there. So you're saying I should move to South Africa? I mean, because I'm good with Gordons Bay or even Somerset West. Yes, President Trump made it possible. Just, hey, Transvaal, I got paid, man. I'm pretty excited. Yep, cool. So that's exciting stuff. I wasn't expecting to get paid. I was not. But here's the upside. Now that I've got that money, I've got to use to pay my taxes. So it doesn't matter. I got to pay taxes. Yeah, well, it's just digital money anyway, Holden, until you go get it out of the bank. Yeah, clouds are gathering. Please don't move here. I won't, Matthew. Don't worry. I'll find your house so I can pee on your lawn. No, clouds have gathered. Clouds have gathered. Yeah, it's nice. I'm a shocker. Yeah, I got to pay the tax, man. That's right. The super chats that someone said I need to give back, I have to pay 50% tax on that. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to go pee on Matthew's front lawn. Somebody tell me where he lives. Why do I get disability? Because I'm physically disabled. I'm a disabled veteran from my service. In fact, right now they want to replace my hip with a prosthetic. Yep, that's why I get disability. Yeah. I mean, it's almost impossible for someone to serve in the military 36 years and go to multiple combat tours and not have some sort of disability. Yep. So the VA disability payment isn't because I can't work. The VA disability payment is because I'm broken in ways that this is meant to compensate me, to make me whole. It doesn't. I'm still in pain sitting here. It doesn't make me whole getting a payment. I get a small amount of money because I have arthritis in that hip, which was caused by an accident in the Army. Yep. I'm not wearing a Halloween costume. I have to run down and collect my judge's bag tonight. The election is on Tuesday. Program reminder, folks. Tuesday, no broadcast. No broadcast on Tuesday. And if I do a Night Owls on Monday, it'll probably be early because I have to get to bed and get up at 5 o'clock and go start my day and end at 11:30 at night. So it's an 18-hour day for me for an election. Yep. Only 15%. Huh? What's only 15%? Sorry, what are you talking about? Carlos says I can have his citizenship. Just a quick question regarding the refugee program. How many spaces do you think are still open from the 75? How many? Very simple, Larissa. 7,500. But only 7,000 are for South Africans, according to the Washington Post. 7,000 of the 7,000 are available. No one has come over since Oktoberfest. No one. No one. No one, Larissa. Okay, the question I was asked earlier about the filibuster. The filibuster is a mechanism that allows the Senate to not be dominated by a party who has one more vote than another party. So, with a filibuster, any senator can get up and start addressing the Senate, and they can talk as long as they want. They can't be cut off at 5 minutes or 3 minutes or something like that. They can talk as long as they want when debating a bill. So we just had a senator talk for 22 hours, 23 hours. I don't know how he does it without going to the bathroom for 23 hours. But yeah, he talked for 23 hours. We've had long filibusters pass. Also, it requires cloture. Cloture is part of that process. And cloture means that you have to have 60% of the votes, not 50 plus 1. So if you get 60 votes, then you pass legislation. Any bill that goes to the Senate doesn't get 60 votes, doesn't pass. Even if it's 59 to 41, it doesn't pass. And that's what the Democrats are doing. The Republicans have 53 members in the Senate. The Democrats have 46 or 45 and 2 independents who vote Democrat. And so they can't get the 60 votes. They would have to get 7 Democrats or independents to cross the aisle and vote for a flat spending bill in order to keep the government open. The Democrats refuse. That's what the filibuster is. I hope that explains it. Yeah, it's the fiscal year. Yeah. Yes, Utopi. See, people don't get. They have no idea the things I do, all the things I'm involved in. The volunteer time I give to the Veterans Organization. I was there last night for the least amount of time I've spent there in 3 weeks. 1 hour. I went for 1 hour. Things were running smoothly, and I greeted the guests, checked on whether they're getting service, and I left. That's the least amount of time I've spent at the Veterans Organization in the past 3 weeks. Understand why some sightlanders have a problem. I saw an interview with a sightlander in Russia, and he was praising the Russian government. Well, praising the Russian government is not going to keep you from being a refugee, but it certainly will raise eyebrows. Yes. Elna Pretorius, welcome to you. Cronia, you're welcome. And whoever it was, you or whoever asked about the filibuster, there's your answer. Okay. Oh, the SEC, yeah, the Southeastern Conference, yeah. I'm not a big fan of college football. I kind of followed college football when I was teaching at Iowa State, and we had a 2,000-yard rusher in Troy Davis. His brother later went there, was also a big rusher. And it was exciting. We had teams like Nebraska coming to town, Kansas. They were huge nationally. And so it was interesting. But I never, it's not my cup of tea. And I used to love the NFL, but all right, ladies and gentlemen, here's the program announcement. Sunday, for the first time, online activity. It's taking too long here. Sunday, for the first time in a long time, specifically. Let me make sure I paid this bill. Hang on, I got to check on something real quick. I thought I paid it already. Okay. Let me see. Huh. I thought I paid this bill. Let me just see. October statement. I'm checking something here real quick here. Oh, I paid it. Okay. Yeah, I paid it. Okay. Well, they just threw me off here. I made it look like I hadn't paid my bill. I was like, whew, I hate that. No, I don't have to pay till November 25th now for that one, but I'll go ahead and pay it soon. Anyway, as I was saying, that's a shocker. I'm shocked I got paid. What was I saying? I got off track there. My goodness. I already explained the nuclear option, Esmari. The nuclear option is to remove the filibuster. If you remove the filibuster, then any party with 51 votes can pass any legislation. And the Democrats and Republicans are terrified of that. So they're refusing to do it. Hey, Neil Yardbird. It's been a long time, man. How you doing? I can understand why somebody... Okay, I already read that. Okay. What steps can President try? Oh, Sunday. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Sunday. Thank you, guys. Senior moments creep in. Sunday. I will be watching for the first time in years a National Football League game. I haven't forgiven them for their racism and bigotry against Americans and their anti-American hatred over Colin Kaepernick and the taking a knee. I haven't forgiven them for that. But Indianapolis Colts are 7-1, and they're amazing, and they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, and for once, it's on television here. So I will be watching it. Let me see what time that game is on. So I've got probably going to mess with my broadcast. So Colts versus Steelers. Okay, let's see. Colts versus Steelers. That is going to be at 1 p.m. So Sunday, my news will be over by 1 o'clock. Probably 12:30 as I watch the pregame. Yep. So Colts are on the road week 9 for matchup with the Steelers. 7-1 Colts, the best record in football. The Steelers are 4-3 and lead the NFC North or AFC North. They have lost 2 games in a row. So what do people say about it? Well, NFL.com says clean sweep. All NFL staff members are picking the Colts to win. Yep. Averaging 36.8 points per game in the month of October, they've become an unstoppable force and is about to run into an extremely movable object. These are not your older brother Steelers, as the league's most expensive defense ranks 22nd in points allowed. ESPN says another sweep. Each of ESPN's predictors is taking the Colts. CBS Sports, Pete Prisco has Colts winning a high-scoring game, 37-30. Yep, so everyone's picking the Colts. So now I'm nervous. We'll see. So I'm watching the Colts. Yep. So my Sunday program will probably come on a little bit earlier so that I can, and that means the refugee chat will be much later if I do it, because the game will go from 1 to 4, so it'll be 10 o'clock before the game is over. So do you have time to do everything? I must feel, huh? Maze, are you talking Utopia? Half a message went through. Thanks, YouTube. Sorry, Vilma, what happened there? Senate voted to rescind Trump's tariff authority. House will not allow a vote to happen there. Good. They shouldn't be changing laws. Do you perhaps have any idea on the current number of people who have applied for the program so far? Yaku, the only factual information I have is the rest is supposition and analysis, which can be accurate. The only number we actually know for sure is that Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke in the Senate in committee and testified that by the end of May, it was late May, around the 22nd, 23rd, something like that, in those 2 weeks since the program opened, they'd received 70,000 statements of interest. Now, I don't know if he misspoke, but that's testimony. So that's what he said. We have no other information. Everything else is just speculation or analysis. So, I want my SNAP voucher back. Trump said a couple of days ago that a private friend said he will donate the outstanding balance they need to pay the veterans. I don't know how they pay the veterans, but I'll take my money. So Neil Yardbird is going to South Africa in December. Okay. Sounds like about right 70,000. I think it's probably more than that, Utopia. But I mean, it's I think it's well over 100,000. But who knows? The Director of International Relations and Cooperation is trying to throw shade on it and say that there's I'm going to read that statement. In fact, let me read that statement to you guys. Okay. All right, Durko refugee statement. Here we go. So now I published a video on this a short while ago while we were live. So let's see if anybody's watching it. Okay. And it's got 1,200 views. Okay. Statement on U.S. Special Refugee Program. It's not a special refugee program. It's just a refugee program. So that's already wrong out of the gate. The South African government has taken note of the recent presidential determination by the United States. This program remains concerning and still appears to rest on a premise that is factually inaccurate and a disregard for our constitutional process. Now, that's untrue. The claim of white genocide in South Africa is widely discredited and unsupported by reliable evidence. Well, I agree. The bogus claim of white genocide fabricated by leftist media and promulgated by the media and by South Africa's government is in fact discredited. The very people who fabricated this nonsense are the ones that continue to talk about it and continue to discredit it. This is further evidenced by the courageous and patriotic open letter from prominent members of the Afrikaner community themselves, who have publicly rejected this very narrative. So a bunch of rich, privileged, elite shitheads is evidence because they wrote an op-ed? That's not evidence. Therefore, a program designed to facilitate their immigration and resettlement as refugees is fundamentally flawed. As is your reasoning, Crispin Peary. It's not a program to facilitate immigration. It is a program to relocate refugees and give them protection. The limited uptake of this offer by South Africans is a telling indicator of this reality. Now, where does he draw that information from? Limited uptake? So what would be a big uptake? No reference point, just propaganda. The South African Constitution guarantees the right of any citizen to emigrate through legal channels. Yeah, that's true. So what? Not germane. We must, however, draw a critical distinction between voluntary migration and refugee asylum. Well, the fact that you don't understand the legal definition between refuge and asylum, refugee status and asylum seeking, shows that you can't draw any distinction because you have no idea what you're talking about. Conflating the two is a serious mischaracterization that carries significant legal consequences for individuals and undermines international protection systems. First off, giving people refugee status does not undermine any international norm. It is the norm for people suffering from persecution. That's first thing. Second, the government of South Africa is threatening South African citizens. It's a serious mischaracterization that carries significant legal consequences for individuals. So who are you threatening? South Africa's refugee applicants and aspirants? This is a threat by the government of South Africa. Threatening refugees is a violation of international norms and standards and conventions. A country that threatens to punish a refugee, to make them stateless, or even threatens them, is a rogue state out of the norm of the United Nations. And perhaps the United Nations should consider sanctioning South Africa's government for threatening its citizens. South Africa values a strategic partnership with the United States and remains committed to collaborating on issues of mutual concern through dialogue and a shared respect for international law and national sovereignty. No, you don't, because you're attacking our law. You are falsely claiming that the U.S. government is interfering in your constitutional process, when in fact you're undermining our Constitution and our duly promulgated laws. The Immigration and Nationality Act predates your corrupt government by 14 years. Your corrupt government didn't come into power until 1994. The law came into effect in 1990. 45 years ago. And 2.9 million, 2.8 million refugees have come to this country. All of whom have been vetted. Their backgrounds checked, their fingerprints checked, investigations done, DNA analysis when necessary, by competent, qualified investigators and law enforcement officials in the United States. And you are claiming with no basis of evidence whatsoever other than a bullshit op-ed by 44 privileged little turd balls who claim to be Afrikaners. That's your evidence? That's your evidence? And you are promoting a white genocide narrative that isn't being used. The basis for refugee status to come to America is not white genocide. The basis to come to America is unjust racial persecution. It's strange how Crispin Peary doesn't mention 145 race-based laws. Not a mention in there. He doesn't mention 97% score on the matric. yet denied entry into UCT because you're white. He doesn't mention expropriation. He doesn't mention the failure of the government to protect property owners. He doesn't mention the widespread murder of commercial farmers and their workers. Doesn't mention any of that. Those are the bases for this, not white genocide. I mean, this is, I'm like fighting a battle with a 3-year-old. This is a toddler who can't even articulate what's going on. He doesn't know the distinction between refuge and asylum. He propagates the myth of white genocide and blames it on the U.S. administration who isn't using it. He doesn't understand the basis for this because he doesn't care. It's like fighting with a toddler. Is this the best that the Department of International Relations Cooperation come up with? By the way, why is International Relations Cooperation not in uppercase on their letterhead? It's in lowercase. It's a proper name. Do you not even speak English properly? No wonder we don't understand the crap coming out of your mouth. It's International Relations and Cooperation with a big uppercase capital letter, not lowercase. Seriously, folks, I'm not making this up. I'll show you the damn letter. I mean, I wasn't sure this was real until I found it on their damn Twitter account because, I mean, who publishes a letter that's green? Look at this. Look at there. International Relations and Cooperation. Lowercase. What kind of stupidity is that? In your letterhead. They've capitalized it below that. How do you take these people seriously? It's like fighting with a 3-year-old. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just, they're clueless. They're completely clueless. Completely clueless. 82 people per day leave South Africa unrelated to the refugee program. So if immigration, God bless it, people writing to me, it's very distracting. No protection for anyone, just the elite cater. Exactly. Yeah, 30% pass rate. Yep. How did Pretoria attack the United States? Did you not just listen to what I said? Did you not just listen to what I said? I mean, okay. Maybe I should switch to a different language. Tja, also vielleicht soll ich alles auf Deutsch erklären, weil manche Leute haben nicht verstanden, was ich gesagt habe. Deswegen werde ich jetzt auf Deutsch alles erklären. Zum Beispiel die Regierung von Pretoria, die haben uns falsch... No, I'll stop there. Okay, yeah. I mean, so I just explained it, how they attacked. They lied about the program. They seek to undermine, they insulted America, claiming that our basis doesn't matter, putting their constitutional process above our constitutional process while claiming we're attacking theirs and they attack ours. What was unclear about that? Maybe I said it too fast. Maybe I said it wasn't clear. Maybe something I said wasn't clear. Donc, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Est-ce que je dois expliquer toutes les choses en français? C'est allemand ou africain ou anglais? Si ça c'est nécessaire, j'essaie en français parce que tout le monde doit comprendre les choses qui viennent du gouvernement de l'Afrique du Sud. You talk English sweetly. Yes, they've been assaulting the U.S. nonstop. And this is another example of it. Let me go back to that letter. Okay? Because we're talking about that letter. Let me just go back to that, okay? All right. Durku refugee. So here, this is the insult. South Africa values its strategic partnership with the United States, remains committed to collaborating on issues of mutual concern. Well, I think the biggest mutual concern issue for the United States is the 30% tariffs imposed on South Africa. Would anybody disagree with that? Would anybody disagree with that? Would anybody disagree that the most important issue between South Africa and the U.S. right now is the tariffs? Okay? So if that's the most important thing, let's see if I can find it here. I don't know if I can be able to find it. It's sometimes hard to find some of these things. Give me a second here. When did I do this? Come on. Where are you at? Come on. It's here somewhere. I won't be able to find, of course, when I need it. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So the most important thing... They're claiming that okay, so here we go. So South Africa values its strategic relationship with the United States and remains committed to collaborating on issues of mutual concern through dialogue and a shared respect. Well, if that's true, ladies and gentlemen, then one would expect that they would have their key people speaking to the Americans. to get rid of the 30% tariffs. But guess where their key people are? Parks Tao, Ronnie Lamola, and Johnny Steenhuisen in Vietnam. Oh yeah! Get it on! White men can't dance. Hey, look at Parks Tao and Ronnie Lamola dancing like a robot. I'm going blind! Stop the video! I'm going blind! I'm going to do the Lamola. You ready for the Lamola? Cringe! Oh, but we value the relationship with the United States. Who's in America negotiating the tariffs down? Nobody. No, it's an epileptic seizure, and that's not an insult to epileptics. We value the relationship with the United States. Do you really? Why are you in Vietnam dancing the night away? Siviwe Gruba's there too. Oh, do the Lamola. Come on, Tata, do the Lamola. Oh, I should do a new song, do the Lamola. Let's do the Ronnie. Okay, but we value the relationship with the United States. Utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. They don't value it. They dismiss it. They don't care about the relationship with the United States. And who pays the price? You do. Black, white, brown, Afrikaans, Xhosa, Zulu, Venda, Khoi, San, Griqua, Portuguese, German, Zulu, South Africans, Christians, Muslims, Jews. You pay the price. You pay the price while they do the robot. Let's do the Lamola. Good Lord. Yes, I am mentally scarring you right now. Oh my goodness. Yes, to step over the crap, yes. Yeah, so I don't know why that's complicated. It's pretty straightforward. Looking for his wallet and keys. Yeah, Sean, I'm with you. How can anybody be so disingenuous? How does it come so naturally to politicians to be so fake? I don't get it. I don't get it. Tom Smith says, I can't dance, but I can do better than that. Yep. Of course he's an embarrassment to black people. Of course. Hip-hop spinnacle. Multitasking is a problem, yep. Anyway, so there you go, folks. I mean, there you go. I mean, what do you say about that? Too much sake. Well, they don't have sake in Vietnam. Maybe they do, but it's not known for that. It's Japan. Question continues. Why the hell are they there when they should be in the USA doing their best negotiating? Exactly. Exactly. While Ramaphosa says it'll happen when it happens. Tomorrow, next week, next month. The underlying reasons for the sanctions have not been removed. South Africa has not removed the quota on our auto imports. South Africa has not allowed us to export our pork to South Africa. South Africa has not put its artificial boundaries around our products and services. So they're not going away. Saw the ANC with the story of 44, the letter published in the Star newspaper day after the news broke. My first thought was, this is proof that every legacy outlet is owned by the ANC. Yaku, I have a hard time disagreeing with what you say. Yes, Dancing with the Stars. Pindele says only in South Africa. Well, I wish it was only in South Africa, but it's all over. But South Africa, it's just, they're just oblivious to how stupid they look. They don't care. They just don't care. They don't care. By the way, folks, I did manage to get all the volunteers that I need to work for the polls on Tuesday, so I'm sitting pretty there, although I got to take one of them off. One of these ladies can't work anymore, so I got to take that off. Okay. All right. Penny wise, pound foolish. We pay the price, and whites and apartheid get blamed. That's true. That's true. That is a statement of fact. Anyway, there you have it, folks. I mean, that's the reality there. This is what's going on. This is what's going on. So, no, they're not taking it seriously. No, they don't. They don't. They don't value the relationship with the United States. If they value the United States, race the United States, Cyril Ramaphosa would not run around going, vaccine apartheid, vaccine apartheid. They're racist. They won't give us vaccine. He would never have done that, knowing full well that the United States and the European Union gave Aspen Pharmacare $711 million to manufacture vaccines. And they gave them the recipe. They gave them the chemical formula. They gave them the centrifuges to make it. And they didn't make it. Yep. Can fly us over. Okay. Dancing with falling meteorites. Thank you, Barito. Am I allowed to swear? Holy fuck there. Yes, you are, Barito. You're allowed to swear. I swear in the program. That's probably why I'm not the ambassador designated to South Africa. Currently explained perfectly. Thank you, Joy from Viking. There's another super chat, 70 rand. I want to thank you. You unknowingly taught me how to read and think about things analytically. I apply it in my everyday life. I'm learning so much from your skills and experience. You're welcome, Neff. And thank you for the 70 rand. I appreciate that. That's what I seek here, folks. That's what I want. I want people to think for themselves. Again, I tell you all the time, you don't have to take my word for things. You can check the sources and you can come to your own conclusions. You'll find that I'm not incorrect very often, but the bottom line here is you can it's anyway. So yeah, no, that's what I want people to do. I want them to think for themselves. Yep. Anyway, a beard trim lady who wants to neat you up. Their wives are going to moan. Hey, that's okay. They don't take anything seriously. They should wear signs. Indeed. Has started and posted her own petition to support the 44. She's using a site that doesn't verify signatures. Of course, Solana. The Sunnyside detective is on the scene. Yes. By the way, let's talk about that petition, which is over 6,000 last time I checked, if I remember correctly. I might remember incorrectly. Let me just take a look here real quick. Where the heck's it at? Yeah. And we got, okay, here's, so I got to move this to here. That's what I got to do. Whoa, that should have been up. Okay, hang on a second. There we go. Let's put this over here. All right, so I want to talk about something else called the Simon Index too. Oh, by the way, Charles is over 40,000 now. He's halfway there. If we get to 80%, then Dirk Kotsia says he'll fund the last 20%. So Charlene and Leslie Wilson added some Super Chat 700 today. Thank you for that. With 10 days left in his 25-day campaign that someone else put up for him, he needed 80,000. He's at 40,184. Now, Charles is going to reach out and see if he can't get that to work, but he was told he needed 80,000. Now, in our name, this is the contrary to the Cockprot op-ed. 6,409 people have now signed this in our name. You don't have to pay, folks. You don't have to pay to sign the petition, okay? Okay? You just don't have to pay, all right? So, all right, so there you go. 18 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago, 42 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago, people signing this. So 6,000 plus. So I'll bet you a bunch of fake signatures are going to go on the Sunnyside Detectives web poll. I guarantee that. And what was that? Another super chat came in for Anime. Says, please check email. Okay, email. Okay, all right. This must be important if I need to check my email. Okay, but I need to find email that's open. Not there. Too many windows. Not there. Here. Well, it's not in any of those. Let's close the news so I can get that out of the way. Let's just come over here and check it out over here. Google, Gmail. Urgent. Oh, I don't know that answer. I mean, if Amerikaners can't answer your question, I take it that you've asked them. Let me see what I can find out. Okay. Swear at your heart's content. Where can I go and look for Online for USA job? Is a good website. Indeed.com. Apocalypse Ninja says, evening, Chris, could we have another poll to add to your other one earlier this morning? What poll did I do previously? I don't remember which poll. Thank you for 35 rand. Elmarie Mayer, Indeed.com, Monster.com. You can go to USA Jobs, which are U.S. government jobs. If you know what state you're going to, you can go to state job sites. Yeah, there's a million different ways to find jobs in America. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. I just hired 3 people this week. 3 people. You know, we have whiskey is very nice, man. Glassdoor is another one. That's another one. Yep. Hey, Macarena. Veroshka, thank you for all you do. So grateful. Thank you for the 100 Rand. I'm grateful for that. Thank you guys. You know, it's the last day of the month and the super chats are coming in. That's cool. So after YouTube takes its 50%, no, it's 30%. It's still a nice little bit of change coming in there. Mach ha eine. How can I make a super chat? I'm blonde. Well, Charlene, blonde, you say? Blue eyes? Blue eyes crying in the rain? Are you born, my see? Inquiring minds want to know. Sorry, I've been off the grid for a while. How do I get you know about the petition? Oh, how do you get to know about it? Well, you can go sign it. I can tell you about it. For people who don't know, so the 44 so-called Afrikaners, including Max Dupree, and that ought to tell you what company we're running in here, they published a letter in Cockprat 24, News 24, last week, or earlier this week, whenever it was, and they claim that say that that people can't speak in their name, that Trump can't speak in their name. Don't appropriate Afrikaans culture. Don't claim that we're victims. We're not victims. We are safe in this free and democratic country. It's wonderful here. That's basically what they said. And so Ronaldo Gos started a petition on change.org, and that's up there. I said maybe somebody should start one. I said maybe I should do one, but you know I'm not a South African, so it probably won't have the same weight. And then someone said no, there already is one, and I found out it was from Ronaldo. Rob Hersoff has encouraged people to go do it, or not Rob Hersoff. Steve Hofmeyer encouraged people to do it, and then the evil toilet paper record, the IOL, came up with this nonsense. So they ran this story. I made a video about it. So obviously you haven't seen any of my videos because I've talked about all this. There it is. Washed up musician, controversial Freedom from Us MP team up to fight Trump's white genocide spin. First off, Steve Hofmeyer is anything but a washed up musician. The guy has sold out concerts all the time. She used an example of a Cape Town concert. Thank you for the 100 Rand super chat, Sean. She used an example of the concert that wasn't sold out in Cape Town at DHL Greenpoint Stadium, which was screwed up by the promoter, didn't advertise it properly, and people didn't know when the concert was. So that's the example why she says he washed up, when he just had a sold-out concert the other day and one the day before that. So calls him washed up musician, calls Ronaldo Gos a Freedom Front Plus member of parliament. That's a lie. Ronaldo Gos is not a Freedom Front Plus member of parliament. He doesn't sit in parliament. He's a former Democratic Alliance member of parliament, and she later identifies that in the story. But the title and then the first paragraph lie and mislead people. And they slander the Freedom Front Plus. He's not a former Freedom Front Plus member of parliament. He's never been a member of parliament. He might be one day, but he's not now. Then in the story, they get things completely wrong, out of context, and they cut and paste, say on Raw, either copies and steals and plagiarize the content from another news site, a South African one, or from the Washington Post, the original source of the information, and factually gets things completely wrong. It's disgraceful. It's not journalism. Not in our name, open letter, real political impact. That's what I'm talking about, Mr. Echo. The risk I see coming from it is that they look like fools. There's no risk. They just showed that they're in cahoots with the ANC, that they're betrayers. What's the word for betrayer? In German, we say Lügner und Betrügner, a liar and a betrayer. Lügner und Betrügner. What do you say in Afrikaans for betrayers? They've betrayed the Afrikaans folk. Verraaier. Yeah, verraaier. Yeah, they're verraaiers. They're 44 verraaiers who false. And you got a couple that claim that I'm not really an Afrikaner. Then they published a letter later on saying this, we're the true Afrikaners. Yeah. They're just bullshit artists. And I've done the video. I made a video of all these clowns that did this. They deign to speak for so many people. Who are they to speak for 2.8 million people? And this is it right here. So, here you go. So, there you go. These are the ones right there. These are the people who are the verraaier of the Afrikaans people. Max Dupree, Rudolf Gos, Gert Gröbler, Chris Heymans, Gili Hoffmann, Willem Kempen, Lindy Kurtz, Nick Kornhoff, Johann Kriegler, Rudy Landmann, J.P. Landmann, Barrett Lagrange, Andrew Leroux, Andre Leroux, Pepe Marais, Martin Osthuizen. Verraaiers. Annelies Borges, Rudy Bice, Vanni Carstens, Andres Silius, Fanny Clotier, Pete Krukamp, Friedrich de Jager. Verraaiers. They are Cafe Clutch Afrikaners. Where do you sign a petition? Well, the link is pinned to the top. Just go there and sign it. Now, people keep saying you have to pay. You don't have to pay. The site asks for money. That is a voluntary donation. You don't have to do it. You can sign it, okay? All right, got it? All right, Hive, you cannot put all caps. Why do people do that? Why are they so attention-seeking? All right. I'm going to read your message, but I'm going to tell you that don't do it again. You're on a warning, all right? So, I am playing the role of the official on the field and bringing you aside, talking to team captain. You're under a warning. Too many penalties down here within 5 meters of the try line. One more penalty, one more time, you put all caps in an email message, there will be a yellow card. Okay? All right. So, what Hive Do said, does having dual nationality affect my chance of being approved even though I was born and raised as, what is AS? What is AS? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. As AS. What is an AS? Dual nationality can affect it, yes. If you have the ability to go to another country that is safe, then it's a problem. But if you're married to someone that is not a dual national, that's fully qualified, they should be the lead applicant, and you'll go. You'll go. We've seen people who have nationality from another country that is a safe haven, but they can't take their family because their kids and their spouse are South African. The South Africans qualify, they've come to America. So yes, it does have an impact. That's right, Anton. They only represent the rich and the super rich. Daniel, if you don't pay attention, Matthew. Matthew's just trolling. He's just trolling. Ronald Lamola is now threatening legal action against Afrikaners who... That's what I said, ADHD. You're late to the program. I made a video on that, which you probably haven't seen because YouTube didn't tell you I produced it. That's published in the last 2 hours. And I've also stated that here in my analysis in the last 10 minutes. Damage control from ANC. Well, they're just pathetic. It's like talking to a toddler. He's got no cogent argument, no lucid discussion. He mentions things that are not germane. They're just silly. Just silly. Ferraias. Yep. I knew that word in Afrikaans. I just couldn't think of it. Yep. Every time I look at the exchange rate, I hope for a stronger rand against the dollar. Trump says private donor gave her. Yeah, but Hank Adrian said that doesn't cover it, man. That doesn't cover it. The monthly. Okay, so I think, let me see. I think I know that figure here. So let me just that. So in order to pay military pay, and this includes retirement, it's, let me see, 193 divided by 12. So I think it's somewhere around $16 billion to make payday. Okay, so now not all that's due today because some active duty take mid-month, so they won't get the other half of their pay until November 15th. But most people get end of month. So let's just say the figure is $15 billion, okay? So military pay this month is $15 billion, including retirees. The $130,000 given by a wealthy donor is, it's a little, here you go. It's a little drop in a bucket. This is the donation. It's a drop in the bucket, man. Nice of somebody to do that. That's a lot of money. I'd kill to have $130 billion, but that's nothing when it comes to... No, Hive Duo, it's not a problem. You don't have to apologize. You didn't know. You didn't know. But, okay, let me explain why that is. Those of us who've been on the internet for 40 years or longer know that the use of all caps in chat rooms and in bulletin boards and message and instant internet relay chat, IRC, all that stuff, people know that all caps is rude and disrespectful. It's attention seeking. It's like yelling fire in a theater. So there is one person on this program who's allowed to use all caps, and that's Hendo. It's an allowance we made for Hendo. Hendo is a destitute, poor, colored South African who fled oppression in South Africa and then wound up getting oppression in the United Kingdom. He lives on a park bench in the southwest of the UK, and he begs for his daily meal. I think half the clothing he currently owns is the hoodie and the T-shirts that I gave him when I saw him in 2022. He's a really nice guy, so we let him do the all caps. No, seriously, Hendo's the only one who can have all caps on the channel. So you didn't do anything wrong. Just giving you a heads up. I was just joking about the yellow card. We do give yellow cards and red cards here, though. Gave a yellow card last night to to Dogzilla. He got a yellow card last night. Don't apologize, buddy. You're okay. Just let me know you're still here. Let me know you're still here, because I don't. Yes, cronier. It's like screaming. Yep, it's like screaming. I have dual nationality, South African, Ireland, but I guess I'll stay here for a while, looking at what's happening across UK, Ireland, Greater Europe. Yeah, no, it might be worse to go there. And Mo, are you married to a spouse that has a nationality that's just South African? If you are, you can qualify that way if they meet all the qualifications. But I would tell you that if you have it and you're interested, go ahead and put it in anyway. Put in a statement of interest if you haven't done already. Why not? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. The Mullen Company just spur about the frogs getting out of the pot. Yeah, people are flabbergasted that people think they aren't that bad. Like, bro, do you even know milk comes from cows? Kathy didn't know it was rude until I was told. Yeah, no, well, that's because you probably weren't on the internet in 1978, in 1988, probably not even 1995. Some of us were. Some of us were. Flesh in. Shh. Shh. Don't tell people that Hendo lives in one of the wealthiest parts of England. He lives on a park bench. He lives on a park bench. Hendo. Fake news. Flesh in. Fake news. Listen, guys. All right, now we're gonna out Fleshin. Fleshin is a Welshman who lives in Oxford. You want to talk about an oxymoron? What the hell is a Welshman doing there? Is he a spy? Is he a spy for Wales? What's going on? Hive says, should I make my wife the lead applicant since she's South African, because we are having a meeting on Monday and now I don't know what to do. If your wife is a South African who qualifies for this program, a racial minority, suffering unjust racial persecution, or anticipating it in the future, yes, she should fill out the statement of interest. 100%. And there's no guarantee that you won't go. You could very well go. There are people who've come over who the spouse has a safe haven. But we don't break up nuclear families. It would be callous to say, okay, I'm going to make it for example. You have an Irish passport and a South African passport. But first off, we'd have to ask the question, are you actually an Irish national? Do you actually live in Ireland? Have you ever gone to Ireland? Do you pay taxes in Ireland? Have you served the military in Ireland? Have you done anything other than you have a passport? So you could surrender your passport and no longer be Irish, potentially. So that's a question that we ask. That's the first thing. Second thing is that you're married to a South African who's a racial minority who's being persecuted, okay? We don't break up families. It would be callous to say your wife and your 3 children, because they're South Africans and they meet the category, they can come to America, but you got to stay in South Africa or go back to Ireland. We don't do that. That's just asinine. But if you put it down in dual nationality, you might not get the attention. It might be pushed to the back of the queue. But if she's qualified, put her down. Okay? She should fill it out. Whose appointment is on Monday? You have a meeting what? You didn't tell me. He didn't say an appointment. He says a meeting. I don't know. That's a business meeting. He's got a meeting with his cousins. He's going to a car dealer. I don't know. Are you trying to tell me, Hive, that you're going Monday to have an interview with someone about refugee status? Is that what you're telling me? We've never seen you before. Where are you just showing up after 10 months? If that's what you're saying, when you get there, then I would almost guarantee you that they're going to ask, well, is your wife a South African national? Does she have a dual passport? No. Okay, let's talk about that. Yes, and Fleshin is a Welsh elite living in a wealthy socialist Republic of Oxford. Okay, Hive, welcome. Are you just now finding my channel? I'm not attacking you. I'm just asking you. Just now finding my channel? Yeah. So you have a meeting. They called you today on Friday, and you have Monday. Well, I hope that they're letting you go to a place that's near you. You don't have to scramble to get to Pretoria, Joburg, or Cape Town overnight. Yes, words matter. Meeting and interview is not the same thing. Thank you, Dirk Kutsia. See, that's the thing. No one here, I'm accusing anybody of this now, but there are a lot of Afrikaners in particular and South Africans in general who come on my program and they misspeak. They use the wrong word, and then I say something, they get all bent out of shape. Words matter. Precision matters. I am a literate person. I am a published author. I speak 6 languages. Words matter. Whether I say Tasche oder Geldbeutel or Portemonnaie makes a difference in German. Words matter. Talking about Ken, I saw a dad saying that they got a letter from school that they shouldn't put ham on the. Yeah, I know about that too. That's insane. Screw them. Screw them. I like the people who put leashes on piglets, and walk them around town to piss people off. I love it. That's awesome. That's hilarious. Alien cultures coming into the United Kingdom, coming into Canada, coming to America, and demanding that we conform to their norms. Screw you. Take your norms elsewhere. They're not congruent with our society. If you want to live here, accept the norms. If you want to contribute to our social fabric, you're welcome to do it. Like introduce cotillion, that's fine. You want to introduce kindergarten, that's fine. You want to introduce tacos or chimichangas, that's fine. You want to introduce, biltong, that's fine. But don't come here and tell us that we can't preach, we can't have our things, that you get to make all. Oh, no, 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 no. El Marie wants a side job. The place I talked about, a place you can go. You want to look. You might do a search on Google and look for remote employment in the United States. That might be what you want to do. I got reported at work in Canada for saying I was against mass third world immigration. Reported for what? What? That's not a crime. What a stupid people to even do that. Canada is so screwed. Called by the Canadians this morning and told that my interviews are Monday in Cape Town. Okay, are you able to make that Monday, Fabian? That's pretty late. A lot of people freak out, man. They freak out. I haven't gotten a letter. I've gotten an email. Do you know where to go? Don't answer where, Fabian. Don't tell us where here. But do you know where to go? And are you able to make that meeting? As refugees in America, best would be to blend in with the wallpaper, low profile. So, and Gunther Bochner just gave a 35 Rand super chat. First one ever. Thank you for that. Son-in-law is not South African, and they got approved. See, there you go, Johan. Because of the spouse. Because of your daughter. That's why. Words matter. That's what I was getting. Words matter, folks. Can I ask if Kenya call? I want to talk to my husband, but he was at work, so they say they'll call back next day because they can't talk to me. Desiree, they say they'll call back next day, but their track record is not very good because they're swamped. So they might call back the next day. Yeah. Why don't you give them your husband's phone number? They can call your husband at work. Can make contact. I don't understand that. As refugee, okay. What else? Sign and share. Very easy. Can help with remote employment agencies placing South Africans with American companies. Just the contact details. Can't get you a job. Okay, so was it El Marie that wanted that information? Send me an email or WhatsApp. Or if you're in contact with Alana on one of those methods, you can contact her directly. Okay. Matthew says this being nice there. Okay. Alana, she's going by Alana. It's Alana. Okay. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. We are the Borg. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. I am Locutus. Wait a second. I thought we are the Borg. How can you be Locutus? Yep. Matis is leaving. I didn't see that. We'll take care of Matis. What am I missing here? Anything else? Frogs in boiling water. Don't realize the cliff was right in front of you. Yeah, no, that's what, man. It's the pot boils over. Ladies and gentlemen, the pot boils over. It really does. You got to be ready for that. Anyway, so the signatures now, we're at 6409 last time I checked on that in our name. Now it's 6433, so another 29 people signed up for it. Cool beans. Let's just go check on something else here, folks, before we wrap up for the day. Friday. Tomorrow, I'm planning on having the Babas on. I think I'll be able to broadcast that. If I'm going to set it up to do it, and I'm also doing the Springboks, so get ready for that on Rugby Ascendant. All right, so please join me tomorrow on Rugby Ascendant for that. Last night we had fun. We did a song for Cindy because she's getting divorced. She's all excited. She's getting divorced. She's back on the market. Anyway, well, maybe not on the market yet, but she's excited. So, yeah. Yeah, you guys are talking about the pot boiling over, the boiling frog, man. I wrote a song on that some time ago. Or I created a song. I shouldn't say wrote a song. All right, so I'm just trying to find it now. Boy, Suno is getting slow. That website is getting very slow. The image is taking forever to download here. I think it's the next one here. They need a better way for me to go through my songs too. Still not there. What's going on here? My goodness, how far back is this thing? There it is. Here you go. This is about Cyril Ramaphosa's The Frog in the Pot.
The water's rising slow and hot. The frog's still dreaming in the pot. Steam whispers secrets to the air. Do you jump or do you dare? Tick tock, the heat won't stop. The lid shakes like it's gonna pop. The pot boils over again. Pressure rising, no way to pretend you can stay or leap. Take your shot. The pot boils over, like it or not.
Oh, Cyril and his frog analogy. The pot's boiling over.
Cyril's cards fell just as planned. He dealt the aces, played his hand, but the crowd's awake, their voices loud. A restless wave, a roaring crowd. Tick tock, the time runs thin. Boiling point, it's sink or swim. The pot boils over again. Pressure rising, no way to pretend you can stay or leap. Take your shot. The pot boils over, like it or not. Pot boils over,
Pot boils over.
like it or not. Pot boils over
Again. Pressure rising, no way to pretend you can stay or leap. Take your shot, 'cause the pot boils over, like it or not.
Pot boils over. Pot
Boils over.
boils over.
Pot boils over.
Pot boils over. Pot boils over, like it or not.
Oh yeah, Cyril, this backfired on you, buddy. This backfired on you. The pot boils over. The pot boils over. Oh my goodness, we love that one. All right, well, one more before we hit the road, folks. Put you in a good mood for this Leka Leka Friday. How about this one? Do the Ronnie Lamola. When the rain comes down, it don't mean drown.
Just
Grab your boots and dance around. A little mud never hurt a soul. It's how we roll. It's how we roll.
The sun's hiding, but it ain't gone. Keep your heart turned on, turned on.
Keep smiling, keep shining when the storm tries to steal your song. Keep smiling, keep climbing till the dark clouds they don't belong. Oh, misery won't stay where joy is strong. Misery won't stay where joy is strong.
When whispers creep in, saying you can't win.
Sing it, girl.
Just shout louder, drown them out again. Turn the doubts into your fire. Every stumble builds something higher. When shadows linger, light your spark. Don't let them pull you into the dark.
Keep smiling, keep shining when the storm tries to steal your song. Keep smiling, keep climbing, tell the dark clouds they don't belong. Misery won't stay where joy is strong. Misery won't stay where joy is strong. There you go, folks. Keep smiling. Yeah, the jellyfish sway and penguins don't wear boots. Both cup. I'll say that for tonight, okay? Charlene's wonderful 100 rand. We got to wrap up. I've got to go get a haircut, get a beard trim, if there's not a long line at the barber. And somebody asked me what a haircut cost earlier. I just remember that now. It depends. When I was on active duty, my local barber charged $14 for a haircut, just a plain haircut. And she gave active duty military a discount, so I got it for $12. Now she charges $18 or $20 for a haircut, and she doesn't give a discount to retirees, no veterans, so just active duty military. So if I get a beard trim, that's another $5 or $6. So I wind up paying like $25 with a tip for a haircut. So it's double what I paid 6 years ago. So there you go. All right. Thanks, guys. Joy is strong tonight. That's the idea. It's about folks being in a good mood and getting lighthearted. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate the support for the channel. For the 500, we peaked at, what was it, 500 something here. Let me go back here. We have 508 there. 508 was the peak of the audience. We kept over 480, 490 for about, let's see, 45 minutes, which is pretty good. Thanks for that. Appreciate you tuning in, folks. Please watch my other videos. One got published while this stream was on, and that's talking about the response from the South African government. You do your own hair and beard. I usually trim my own beard, but when it gets to this length, it gets a little harder for me to keep it straight, so I let them do it, okay? All righty. Thank you for the live. You're very welcome, Ingrid. And, folks, I'll try to catch up on my email if I can later tonight. But, again, I've got to run to the county seat. I've got to get my hair cut. I've got to check on the Veterans Organization and maybe get some steamed crabs. Just saying. All right, guys. Thank you. God bless. Enjoy your Lekker Friday. And I'll see you later tonight for Night Owls if you're here. And if not, maybe I'll see you on Rugby Ascended tomorrow for the Babas, the Barbarians versus the New Zealand 15, if I can get that going. I think I can. And then afterwards, it's going to be the Springboks in Japan. Is it Wembley? I think Wembley. Yeah. Okay, cool beans. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Appreciate your time. God bless.